peace and welcome to the culture here on the Black Star Network. I'm your host, Farajii Muhammad. Thank you so much for tuning in and being a part of the conversation. Folks, we got a lot to talk about. First and foremost, let's talk about the mother of the child who was sentenced for public urination, how she's now deciding to refuse to not sign the probation terms. I'm gonna share with you the latest in this case of Quantavious Eason and his mom, Latanya Eason. We'll talk about that. Also, Boston mayor has officially apologized to black men who were wrongfully accused in the case from 1989, where a black man was indicated as being the killer of a white woman. I'm gonna share the details of that. Later on, New York City becomes the next big city to set up a conversation, or rather a commission about reparations. As you know, we've been keeping up to date on all of these reparations conversations from around the country. I'll share with you a little bit about that. And later, Florida preschool faces backlash from the NAACP after using a 2-year-old in a Rosa Parks arrest skit. I got some questions though. Got some questions. Folks, stay with us. It's all happening on today's edition of The Culture right here on the Black Star Network. Let's go. All right, peace and welcome to the culture here on the Black Star Network. I'm your host, Farajii Muhammad. Thank you so much for tuning in and being a part of the conversation. Man, oh man, we got a lot of great discussions lined up for you folks. So before we jump into the conversation, got to let you know that we are streaming on a number of different platforms. Make sure you check us out at our home platform of blackstarnetwork.com. blackstarnetwork.com. Did I tell you? blackstarnetwork.com. Okay, there it is. Make sure you find us there on blackstarnetwork.com. Download the app, follow us on social media, and of course, we're looking for your financial donation to help us to continue to be a part of this digital movement we are embarked upon. So make sure you go to our website today. Also, you can find us on Amazon News on your Fire TV. That's right, we are streaming on Amazon platforms, along with Amazon Prime Video, and you can find us on the Prime Video app under Live TV, the news, or find us under Amazon.com under Prime Video, then Live TV, the news. We're checking us out there. We're also on the Freevee network. Big shout out to Freevee for hosting us on the network there. So you can check us out now under news for Freevee. And we're under Plex TV, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Just search for Black Star Network on Plex TV. You'll find us under Live TV, the news, and opinions. Now, we're also streaming on social media platforms for Facebook. So check us out under Roland Martin's Facebook page, and you can join the chat there. Or you can also join us on the chat at the Roland Martin's YouTube page. And on both chats, you will find the illustrious, the dynamic, the absolutely crazy culture crew. And that's a group of folks that tune in each and every day, that are part of the conversation, and more importantly, that are giving some insight and analysis themselves, because this is one of the very, very few places online, folks, where you are a part of the conversation just as much as I am, just as much as our guests are. But we want to hear from you. So get ready to join us in a few moments. That's right. Thanks, Jay. Get ready to join us in a few moments to be a part of the discussions. And speaking of the online culture crew, let's check in with them. There we go. Let's check in with them and see where they are. I see we got Pastor Damon Blissett in the building. Big brother Willie Frazier DeO is in the building. Shout out for Farajii Muhammad. There we go. We also got Cindy D. I see you, Cindy. Hello, Cindy. Hey, Tiana. Like you said, hey, y'all. Hey, Tiana. There we go. Pretty Brown Mimi 726. Happy Wednesday, Farajii and Culture Crew. Happy Wednesday, Mimi. Thank you so much for checking in. The ABX Girl checking in. Hi, all. Hi, ABX Girl. Good to connect with you once again. Lana, my sister. You said Farajii is the voice of reparations. Shout out, New York. Come on. Yeah. Lana, I always appreciate you. But, you know, we got to stay on top of this reparations talk. Thank you so much. Davey Floater, good to connect with you as always. You're saying hopefully this distortion goes away when he returns. Sounds like he was driving against headwind on the speakerphone. I hope so too. I hope so, because I want to come in loud and clear. But Davey, thank you for checking in. My sister Karen Connor checking in. Hi, Karen. Good to connect with you once again. Who else we got? Waterboy is in the building. That's what I'm talking about. Robin Welch, I see you. Oakman22, thank you for checking in. KJ, bro, get on with it. I hear you, KJ. We're going to get on with it. Don't get mad at me, bro. We're getting ready for you. NLV Assassin. There you go. Here it is, NLV Assassin. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for checking in. All right, folks. Let's get on with it. KJ said, let's go. Are you ready to go? KJ, we got some great stuff for you, man. Make sure you join us in the conversation. First and foremost, let's talk about this situation. This is really an update about the mother of the child sentenced for public urination, how he refuses to sign the probation terms. This is the situation, folks. Remember the 10-year-old down in Mississippi who was peeing on the side of his car, not in public view, but he was behind his mom's car. And then the police arrested him, and then the prosecutor charged him with public urination. And then he was also given a probation term. And then he had to write a 2-page essay about one of his favorite people, Kobe Bryant. Well, the mother said, you know what? I'm not with it. She's not going to sign it. This is the latest coming from the Associated Press. Take a look at this, folks. Latanya Eason, the mother of Quantavious Eason, had initially planned on signing the agreement to avoid the risk of prosecution, prosecutors upgrading her son's charge as they threatened, but she changed her mind after reading the full agreement Tuesday, according to her attorney, Mr. Carlos Moore. They said, we cannot in good conscience accept a probation agreement that treats a 10-year-old child as a criminal. The terms proposed are not in the best interest of our client, and we will take all necessary steps to challenge them. Now, check this out. The terms for Quantavious's probation were similar to those prosecutors would demand of an adult, including sections that prohibited the use of weapons and demanded he submit to a drug test at a probation officer's discretion. They gave him a general form, told him to sign it. And they did not adjust the language for a 10-year-old because maybe a 10-year-old shouldn't have been arrested from the first place. So what do you think of this case, folks? Do you think that mom is making a good decision to refuse to sign the probation terms? Post your comments in the chat. We got to take a quick pause when we come forward. Let's get into the conversation about this. Do you think she's making the right decision to not sign the probation terms? Make sure you follow us, join us in the chat. Again, we're streaming on Roland Martin's YouTube page and on Roland Martin's Facebook page, and we would love to hear from you. Stay with us. We still got a lot to cover in this first half of The Culture right here on the Black Star Network.
Pull up a chair, take your seat. The Black Tape with me, Dr. Greg Carr, here on the Black Star Network. Every week, we'll take a deeper dive into the world we're living in. Join the conversation only on the Black Star Network.
I'm Farajii Muhammad, live from LA. And this is The Culture. The Culture is a two-way conversation. You and me. We talk about the stories, politics, the good, the bad, and the downright ugly. So join our community every day at 3 p.m. Eastern and let your voice be heard. Hey, we're all in this together. So let's talk about it and see what kind of trouble we can get into. It's The Culture. Weekdays at 3, only on the Black Star Network.
When you talk about blackness and what happens in black culture, we're about covering these things that matter to us, speaking to our issues and concerns.
This is a genuine people-powered movement.
There's a lot of stuff that we're not getting. You get it, and you spread the word.
We wish to plead our own cause. Too long have others spoken for us. We cannot tell our own story if we can't pay for it. This is about covering us. Invest in black-owned media. Your dollars matter. We don't have to keep asking them to cover our stuff. So please support us in what we do, folks. We want to hit 2,000 people, $50 this month, raise $100,000. We're behind $100,000, so we want to hit that. Y'all money makes this possible. Check some money orders. Go to P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 20037-0196. Cash App is $RM Unfiltered. PayPal is R Martin Unfiltered. Venmo is RM Unfiltered. Zelle is Roland at RolandSMartin.com. Folks, Black Star Network is here.
Oh, no punching.
I'm real revolutionary right now.
Support this man, Black Media. He makes sure that our stories are told.
Thank you for being the voice of Black America, Roland.
Stay black. I love y'all.
All momentum we have now, we have to keep this going.
The video looks phenomenal.
See, there's a difference between Black Star Network and Black-owned media and something like CNN.
You can't be Black-owned media and be scared.
It's time to be smart.
Bring your eyeballs home.
You dig?
All right, folks, welcome back to The Culture here on the Black Star Network. I'm your host, Farajii Muhammad. Okay, so we've been talking a little bit, getting the conversation started around the case of Quantavious Eason. This is the 10-year-old boy, the black child, who was arrested. And Keenan, when we get a chance, so I want to pull up that picture of Quantavious sitting in the back of the police car, bro. Thank you. But Quantavious was arrested for public urination. Went through the whole process of getting arrested, charged. They did not put handcuffs on him, but he did get taken down to get quote unquote booked. He did not take a picture, but he did go through some of the steps. And essentially his case was seen by a prosecutor, and they decided to, of course, give him probation and make him write a book report. Now, his mother, in this latest development in this case, Miss LaTanya Eason, she initially planned to sign the agreement to avoid the risk of prosecuting, upgrading her son's charges, as they threatened folks. But now she's refusing to sign the probation terms altogether. This was a decision that she made on yesterday because she believed, and her attorney agreed with her, of course, that the terms proposed are not in the best interest of their client. The terms were those that you would demand of an adult. Sections about prohibited use of weapons, demanded to be submitted to a drug test. Now, some of us may say, well, they wouldn't do that because it's a 10-year-old. Of course, they wouldn't do it. But if you sign, y'all know how contracts are and agreements are. If you sign it, then you're essentially saying that you submit to those terms. Question is, and I'm posing to y'all, is do you think she should have signed it, or you think that it's a good thing that she decided not to sign it? And it's going to be interesting. Let me hear what you got to say, folks, as we check in with you from all across the country. Join us in the conversation. We are streaming right now on Roland Martin's YouTube page, as I would love to hear from you. Okay. Willie, big brother Willie, let me go to you first, brother. You said, what? There he is, Quantavious Eason. Look at that 10-year-old boy sitting in the back of a police cruiser. Again, his hands aren't handcuffed. But it's just this. I could not imagine. I'm sure many of us, if you have a 10-year-old son, I have a 10-year-old son. If you have a 10-year-old nephew, grandson, can you imagine that being your grandchild sitting in the back of a police cruiser for something that grown folks do all the time without being subjected to this process? Can you imagine that? So, big brother Willie Frazier, you said FOH. I can see an adult male who was drunk peeing in front of a school getting this, but he's 10. Appeal, get another judge so this can be thrown out. That may be one of the options that Miss Eason will take up on, brother Willie. Brother Damien, you said, thank you, big brother. Brother Damien, Blissett, you said, yes, she should not sign it. Exclamation, exclamation, exclamation point. She should not sign it. All right. Very loud and clear. Look, look, one thing that you don't want to do, if we don't sign certain terms to get things like furniture and cars, what makes you think that I'm going to sign an agreement with a prosecutor for the state about arresting my child. Oakman 22, you said absolutely she is doing the right thing. This will follow him for the rest of his life. How long is the probation? He should not be left to the he should not be left to the discretion of the probation officer. Absolutely. Absolutely. Oakman 22, thank you. Pauline, you said she should not sign it. Thank you, Pauline. NLV assassin. You said that is absurd. I get he shouldn't have whizzed in public, but he's 10. How many kids have done this? Tens and millions. They wildin'. Don't sign it, mom. Tear it up. So yeah, absolutely. 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 Grandma sings too. You said, yes, she did. Her son's behavior reflects the historical reality of us not being able to use public facilities. We have to address the broader reasons for that behavior use. Kathleen Davis, you checked in. You said, give everyone probation that peed outside. Stop railroading our children. And I don't expect you to notice my opinion. Come on. Of course we're going to notice your opinion, Kathleen. You're part of the crew. Thank you. You don't like my music. You said there are no public washrooms anymore. What are people supposed to do? Absolutely. I hear that. I hear that. Who else? Karen, my sister Karen, you said he is 10. This is a waste of the taxpayers' money, right? How about that? There should have been a written warning. She should not sign the probation terms. I'm with it, y'all. I'm definitely with it on this, that there should not be any signatures on this. Again, this is an agreement with the state. So if that's the case, then what are we talking about here? Now, the terms of the agreement stem from a sentence that was ordered on December the 12th by Tate County Youth Court Judge Rusty Harlow. Let's just say that again. Tate County Youth Court Judge Rusty Harlow. The judge said that Quantavious must serve 3 months of probation. And as I mentioned before, write a 2-page book report on Kobe Bryant. So Mr. Judge Harlow thought this was appropriate. The prosecution had threatened to upgrade the charge of child in need of supervision to a more serious charge of disorderly conduct if the Quantavious family took the case to trial, according to the family's attorney, Mr. Moore. Can y'all believe? I mean, look how insane, folks, this whole situation has gotten from a simple thing, right? Like, this could have been a quick conversation. I'm with you, Karen. It could have been a written warning. But now you're talking about threatening a black family. Yo, how many conversations do we have to show that we are still living in America, that we are still in this place where black children, black hair, I mean, everything about our very existence comes under great, great scrutiny. And it's very sad. It's very sad. You're talking about upgrading the charge of child in need of supervision to a more serious charge of disorderly conduct if the family threatens to take it to trial. Come on, somebody, crewman, crew. Somebody talk to me. You're talking about taking this to trial? Let me put this man's name back up here. Tate County Youth Court Judge Rusty Harlow. You're talking about taking this to trial for a 10-year-old peeing on the side of his mother's car. Who's going to sit in a trial like that? What jury would be like, yeah, I'm going to sit on this trial and deliberate and go, as you said, Karen, go through using taxpayers' money for something as small, as silly, as common as this? Take this to trial. Robin Welch, you checked in and said, this is absolutely ludicrous. This is beyond ludicrous. This is America crazy. We're going to have to come up with a new term. Because this is beyond ludicrous. This is America crazy. This is American crazy. I've never seen this. Monkey Monkey Confessions, you checked in. Where's the NAACP? Where's anybody? You know what I'm saying, Monkey Confessions? Like, where's anybody? Where's the Department of Justice? Where's the state of Mississippi saying this is a sham? You mean to tell me all of them hardened criminals, people that doing real harm to folks in the state of Mississippi, and y'all talking about wasting money, wasting time, wasting people's talents? Because you got to imagine a prosecutor has to argue this, a defense attorney has to argue this because of a child. That's what it is. We're American crazy. Azzy Galloway, you said the judge needs to be on trial. He's sick just like the rest of them. If I was the judge, I would have threw out the case and said, this is ridiculous. Send that boy home. He doesn't need to be in front of a criminal justice system at 10 years old for something that grown-ass men and grown-ass women do. I seen women peeing on the side of the road in broad daylight. Come on, y'all. Come on. Look, I got to take another quick pause. I wanted to let you know the latest of the situation. We probably won't finish hearing about this. According to the report, the lawyer for the family, the Eason family, filed a motion requesting that the Tate County Youth Court either dismiss the case or set a trial. A hearing on that motion has been scheduled for January 16th. Y'all hear me? Who the hell wants to start off the new year like that? This is absolutely insane. This is America crazy right here. Jackson, Mississippi. Crew, how many folks are from Jackson, Mississippi, or live in Jackson, Mississippi right now? Y'all let me know. If I was in Jackson, I would be just going crazy. Got to take a quick pause. When we come back, I got more conversations. I don't even know what else to say about this. That's the latest in that particular update. We'll talk about it later. Stay with me. We're still having the first half of the culture right here on the Black Star Network.
When you talk about blackness and what happens in black culture, we're about covering these things that matter to us, speaking to our issues and concerns.
This is a genuine people-powered movement.
There's a lot of stuff that we're not getting. You get it, and you spread the word.
We wish to plead our own cause. Too long have others spoken for us. We cannot tell our own story if we can't pay for it. This is about covering us. Invest in black-owned media. Your dollars matter. We don't have to keep asking them to cover our stuff. So please support us in what we do, folks. We want to hit 2,000 people, $50 this month, raise $100,000. We're behind 100,000, so we want to hit that. Y'all money makes this possible. Check some money orders. Go to P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 20037-0196. The Cash App is $RM Unfiltered. PayPal is R Martin Unfiltered. Venmo is RM Unfiltered. Zelle is Roland at RolandSMartin.com.
I'm Farajii Muhammad, live from LA. And this is The Culture. The Culture is a two-way conversation. You and me. We talk about the stories, politics, the good, the bad, and the downright ugly. So join our community every day at 3 p.m. Eastern and let your voice be heard. Hey, we're all in this together. So let's talk about it and see what kind of trouble we can get into. It's The Culture. Weekdays at 3, only on the Black Star Network.
Folks, Black Star Network is here.
Oh, no punches!
I'm real revolutionary right now.
Support this man, Black Media. He makes sure that our stories are told.
Thank you for being the voice of Black America, Roland.
Stay black. I love y'all. All momentum we have now, we have to keep this going.
The video looks phenomenal.
See, this difference between Black Star Network and black-owned media and something like CNN.
You can't be black-owned media and be scared.
It's time to be smart.
Bring your eyeballs home.
You dig?
right, folks, welcome back to The Culture here on the Black Star Network. I'm your host, Farajii Muhammad. Okay, so we got the America crazy case of Quantavia Eason. So on that side, this goes, and I wanted to put the show together this way because I just wanted to show how things move along. So that 10-year-old boy is going under that scrutiny. That's in 2023, right? That's this year. But I want to now talk about a story that happened back in 1989, folks. 1989 in Boston, Massachusetts. Because in 1989, a white woman was killed by her white husband. But at the time, the white husband had made up a fictional black man to serve as the killer, who said he was the killer of his wife, who was shot in the head during an attempted robbery. And as a result of that, stop and frisk in Boston was enacted in black neighborhoods like Roxbury and other places around the city. And 2 black men were arrested as a result of that of being wrongly accused. They were arrested. Now, of course, they were set free because they found out that the husband was the one responsible orchestrating the killing of his wife. The husband ended up killing himself back in 1990 by jumping off a bridge in Boston. But now in 2023, right, the mayor of Boston, Mayor Michelle Wu, issued a formal apology today to 2 black men who were wrongly accused in that murder. And that was the case that created such a divide in the city of Boston. Of course, it was along racial lines. And it renewed suspicion and anger directed at the police department by the city's black community, according to the report. According to the mayor, what she said during a news conference, she said, quote, "I am so sorry for what you endured. I am so sorry for the pain that you have carried for so many years." And this came out, and I'm looking at the final paragraph here. Alan Swanson and Willie Bennett, those were the 2 black men who were wrongly named as suspects in the October 23rd, 1989 death of Carol Stewart, whose husband, Charles Stewart, was responsible for her killing. The mayor finally apologized on behalf of the city for them being wrongly accused. Now, the mayor went on to say that what happened to both Mr. Swanson and Mr. Bennett was unjust, unfair, racist, and wrong. During the crackdown, police first arrested Swanson before ruling him out, and then took Bennett into custody. And then it was Mr. Charles Stewart, the husband, who would later identify Bennett in late December. But by then, his story, Mr. Charles Stewart's story, had already begun to fall apart. And both Mr. Swanson and Mr. Bennett did not have any involvement in the murder. And then Charles Stewart's brother, Matthew, eventually confessed to helping him hide the gun. It was a situation. According to Willie Bennett's nephew, Joey Bennett, he accepted Mayor Michelle Wu's apology today on behalf of his uncle and family, saying, quote, "We are truly humbled to finally be receiving this apology." It took all this time, and I'm happy, and I'm glad that Mayor Michelle Wu decided to move forward on apologizing. But here's the point of this, folks. Look how long it took for the city to apologize. You see what I'm saying? So I want to kind of go back on what we talked about with little brother Quantavious Eason, right? How long will it take for Tate County Police Department to apologize for something like this? Like, we have to wait years before there's an acknowledgement of the pain that is caused to us. And this is the very frustrating part about this whole process, folks, that we got to wait, that we have to, it has to be years and evidence. Like, our word means nothing, right? You can't believe, you don't believe the words of black men and black women. you really don't investigate the shoddy police work and investigative work that police departments continue to do, whether it's in 1989 or 2023, the shoddy police decision making and judgment calls that police officers make, right? In dealing with Black men, Black women, of course, with Black girls and Black boys. We don't question that until years down the road. Again, I'm happy that this man finally decided to use her platform, use her position to apologize to this family. But you mean to tell me it took all this time for something to be done? And I know some of you might be saying, oh, well, at least it happened. Come on. How long? How long? And you mean for 30 plus years, right? For 30 plus years, we're supposed to, have faith in the system. We're supposed to get involved in the voting party. We're supposed to do all of these things to show that we are good citizens. And we can't get a simple apology until 30 plus years later. People go to jail. Men's lives are destroyed, right? Because of just shoddy police work and because of racism and because of just jumping to conclusions about Black men. All right, let me go back to y'all, man. Waterboy, you checked in and said we need some sort of underground railroad for Blacks that go through this for real, for real. We might need to, Waterboy. We might need to. The outrage is heavy, Brother Willie. Cindy D, you said pain to Black people in this society is not shocking. It's embedded in the institutional racism culture. It's not shocking, but it's just more of like this conversation, which is why I'm holding this conversation the way we're holding it today. This conversation is about us and how we respond to this. I'm not expecting anything different from people in power and the system. I'm expecting something different from us. I got to take a quick pause. When we come forward, let's continue to talk a little bit about this. But look at how these cases are, right? Case after case after case. Things are happening. And when we come forward, we're going to take a quick pause and then we're going to get a little bit more conversation about this. But this is why there is that talk about reparations, which we're going to talk about today. This is why there's that talk about reparations, because it just takes so long. You know, we tell people when we teach children and some adults that when you hurt someone's feelings, when you violate someone's trust, when you do all of these things, that the best way to handle a situation is to acknowledge the wrong, correct it in a very swift manner. That's not the case. That's not the case when it comes to our relationship to this country, our relationship to the police department, to the government of the United States of America. That's not the case with us. We have to wait on that slow apology. And the sad part about it is that the apology comes so slow that you got hundreds of other cases now that has to be looked into, and you only hope that justice can be served in those cases as well. Folks, stay with me. We've still got a lot to talk about in this first half of the culture right here on the Black Star Network.
Pull up a chair, take your seat. The Black Tape with me, Dr. Greg Carr, here on the Black Star Network. Every week, we'll take a deeper dive into the world we're living in. Join the conversation only on the Black Star Network.
I'm Farajii Muhammad, live from LA. And this is The Culture. The Culture is a two-way conversation. You and me. We talk about the stories, politics, the good, the bad, and the downright ugly. So join our community every day at 3 p.m. Eastern and let your voice be heard. Hey, we're all in this together. So let's talk about it and see what kind of trouble we can get into. It's The Culture, weekdays at 3, only on the Black Star Network.
When you talk about blackness and what happens in Black culture, we're about covering these things that matter to us, speaking to our issues and concerns.
This is a genuine people-powered movement.
There's a lot of stuff that we're not getting. You get it, and you spread the word.
We wish to plead our own cause. Too long have others spoken for us. We cannot tell our own story if we can't pay for it. This is about covering us. Invest in black-owned media. Your dollars matter. We don't have to keep asking them to cover our stuff. So please support us in what we do, folks. We want to hit 2,000 people, $50 this month, raise $100,000. We're behind 100,000, so we want to hit that. Y'all money makes this possible. Check some money orders. Go to P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 20037-0196. The Cash App is $RM Unfiltered. PayPal is R Martin Unfiltered. Venmo is RM Unfiltered. Zelle is Roland at RolandSMartin.com. Folks, Black Star Network is here.
Hold no punches. I'm real revolutionary right now.
Support this man, Black Media. He makes sure that our stories are told.
Thank you for being the voice of Black America, Roland.
I love y'all.
All momentum we have now, we have to keep this going.
The video looks phenomenal.
See, there's a difference between Black Star Network and black-owned media and something like CNN.
You can't be black-owned media and be scared.
It's time to be smart.
Bring your eyeballs home.
You dig?
All right, folks, welcome back to The Culture here on the Black Star Network. We're talking about the case, the story of two black men who were wrongly accused in 1989 for the killing of a white woman in Boston. Alan Swanson, Willie Bennett, they were wrongly named as suspects in the October 23rd, 1989 death of Carol Stewart. When it was all said and done, these two men were named to be the perpetrators when in fact they weren't. They were exonerated. But as a result of that, and the husband was the one responsible who ended up killing himself 1 year later. But the mayor of Boston decided that she was going to apologize to the families of Willie Bennett and Alan Swanson today, to apologize for the unfair treatment, to apologize for the racism at that time of choosing those two black men, to apologize for the police department that used stop and frisk policies to lock up those black men. And it's a good move for the mayor. It's a good start, right? But I don't know about y'all, but I don't know when I hear stories like this, I give this story like this. Just one hand clap. Because I'm thinking about how many other cases of black men being wrongly accused have there been in Boston? We don't have to go back 100 years, or let's go back 25 years, right? Let's go back 30 years. How many cases were black men wrongly accused for something in Boston? Then you look at the state of Massachusetts. Then you look into the country. An apology is fine. And I'm happy that the mayor at least acknowledged this, right? And it took an Asian woman to finally apologize on behalf of the city for the wrong that were committed against these two black men. But this is 2023. We're about to get into 2024. And when we're talking about repairing the damage, and we're going to talk about the reparations piece in a moment, but when we're talking about repairing the damage that was done, for those who might try to trivialize this conversation, like all of these things is about the simple fact that we are in this space, right? That we have been damaged time and time again, city after city, state after state, year after year. We have been damaged. And an apology is one thing. Again, thank you, Madam Mayor. That's fine. I would like to see somebody getting penalized for that. It might be too late now because it's 30 plus years later. You know, somebody should be held responsible and accountable for shoddy police work. I would like to see a different policy in terms of how police do their jobs. So if at this point, if it takes 30 plus years to apologize for one case, that means that any case of police misconduct or any case of a black man being wrong or a black woman being wrongly accused in 2023, shit, that ain't going to happen for another 30 years. But we got so much. We gotta take the hits all the time, and that's what I'm simply saying, y'all. Again, I'm not expecting nothing different because this has been the system, and I know some of y'all that said Farajii, well, this is the system. Yeah, but then the different part is, you know, it's like that old saying that, you know, you got to accept the things you cannot change, but then you got to change the things that you have power over. We got power in how we respond to these situations that come up each and every day in America. We have power to change that. Our response. We may not be able to change the hearts and minds of individuals in power who don't give a damn about us, but that's not our concern. Our concern is how do we respond differently to this type of madness? All right, let me go take this. Let me just take a look at this. You don't like my music? You say we are obsessed with punishment, which is ironic for a so-called Christian nation, Christian society. Well, yeah, absolutely. Deidre Hall, you said they should apologize and they owe them. So that must mean, as we talk about this case, this reparations movement in New York, that must mean Boston needs to have some reparations, and the Madam Mayor needs to sign that like today. That's how urgent it is. Like, needs to actually get signed today. Like a commission in Boston needs to come together to set up a reparations movement there. Because I can only imagine, as this being like, you know, Boston, the historical significance of the city of Boston in American history, I can only imagine. See, I'm y'all gonna hate me on this one, but I gotta say it because this is how I'm feeling. I don't want no more street signs. I don't want no more buildings named after us and our great heroes and sheroes. I need some changes. There's no need for us to play change, right? When we still got generations of Black children, generations of people of the next generation that's coming up behind us, and they're going to be susceptible to the same madness that we have been fighting for. We want change. I don't want to be named that. I wouldn't want a name on a school or, you know, so-and-so way as a street name, or something like, oh yes, we're going to do this in the honor of so-and-so. This is the scholarship fund. That's all well and good. That's performative in my eyes. At this point, we need something concrete. Because I need to know that Black children, Black boys and Black girls aren't going to continue to be served up on a silver platter for a system that wants to take their lives or destroy their lives, or a system that don't give a damn about their lives. I don't want that. Having your name on a building, having your name on a street sign, having your name on some sort of grant or some sort of scholarship, that's all well and good, but we need change. We need some real change. Yeah, Cindy D, you said we need action. We absolutely need some action, y'all. Big Mama loves you. You say it's a plot and plan as usual. And since we know this Big Mama loves you, how do we respond? How would we respond? Now, Grandma Sings, you say that apology would have never happened if a woman of color were not the mayor. And guess what? That goes to show you that there's a different time, but we cannot wait on the benevolence of anybody whether they're Asian or white or black. We can't wait on the benevolence of a person to get into a position of power and expect them to erase 30 plus years worth of racism, sexism, discrimination, we can't do that. That strategy is over. We've been using that strategy for many years, y'all. Y'all know that, right? We've been using that strategy that we hope that the next person that is going to, quote unquote, repair the damage. And that's too much to expect. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think that's too much to expect. Because we might be waiting for hell to freeze over before that happens, folks. Seriously, we may be working so long for that person to come into a position of power with that level of consciousness and compassion. So that way they can change a system that is entrenched in injustice, that is dripping with the blood of Black folks and marginalized communities. We expect that one person to come in and to clean up the mess that people have created over decades. That's not fair. That is not fair. This is 2023. We're going into 2024. We got to change the culture on that. Look, I got to take another quick pause. When we come forward, let's talk about reparations in New York. Stay with us. It's the culture here on the Black Star Network.
Black Star Network is here.
Oh, no punch! I'm real revolutionary right now.
Thank you for being the voice of Black America.
All momentum we have now, we have to keep this going.
The video looks phenomenal.
See, this difference between Black Star Network and Black-owned media and something like CNN.
You can't be Black-owned media and be scared.
It's time to be smart.
Bring your eyeballs home.
You dig? When you talk about blackness and what happens in Black culture, we're about covering these things that matter to us, speaking to our issues and concerns.
This is a genuine people-powered movement.
There's a lot of stuff that we're not getting. You get it, and you spread the word.
We wish to plead our own cause. Too long have others spoken for us. We cannot tell our own story if we can't pay for it. This is about covering us. Invest in Black-owned media. Your dollars matter. We don't have to keep asking them to cover our stuff. So please support us in what we do, folks. We want to hit 2,000 people, $50 this month, raise $100,000. We're behind 100,000, so we want to hit that. Y'all money makes this possible. Check some money orders. Go to P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 20037-0196. The Cash App is $RM Unfiltered. PayPal is R Martin Unfiltered. Venmo is RM Unfiltered. Zelle is roland@rolandsmartin.com.
All right, folks, welcome back to the culture here on the Black Star Network. I'm your host, Farajii Muhammad, and thank you so much for joining us for the second half of the show. Make sure you check us out on our home website at blackstarnetwork.com. Download the app for free. Follow us on social media, and we ask for your financial donations. For those who may be asking, well, why do you guys ask for financial donations? Because we do not want this type of medium, this type of platform to be in the hands of individuals who say one thing out of their mouths, but then the money, the priority, the commitment to the Black community and to Black America is not fully there. So we want this to be a watcher, a listener, empowered movement. And so you being a stakeholder helps us in that practice. And this is not some foreign practice. If we want to continue to be a space for Black content, then we should have Black people supporting us. It's just that simple. We support everyone else, and they don't have our interests at heart. So we're asking you to support us, because guess what? You hear what we talk about each and every day, whether it's on the culture, whether it's on the frequency, whether it's on RMU, Roland Martin Unfiltered, whatever program, the Black Table, doesn't matter. But at the root of everything we do is the empowerment, is the education, it is the enlightenment of Black America. So that's why we ask you for your support. So join us, and you can give us you can give your support today. Just go to our website at blackstarnetwork.com. Also, we're streaming on Amazon platform, on Amazon, on your Amazon TV, on Fire TV, on Amazon News. You can find us there. We're also on Amazon Prime Video, where you can find us there live under Prime, on the Prime Video app under Live TV, the news. So find us under Amazon.com under Prime Video, then Live TV, the news. And we're on Freevee. You can check us out there on now under news. And we're also on Plex TV 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Just search for Black Star Network or find us under Live TV, the news and opinion. Okay, see how everything is moving forward, folks, and how we were able to set up today's show, because we wanted to make sure that you understand all of the complexities about it. And this is our big culture convo today, which is looking at this piece around reparations. And as you know, I am dedicated and committed to using this space, this platform, for every latest development around the issue of reparations. And so, you know, and I'm not worried about the whole lineage and all of that conversation. I'm just simply want us to have the discussion of reparations, because we cannot have any talk about the future of Black America if the talk does not include reparations. Let me just say that to you one more time, crew. There cannot be any talk about the future of Black America if reparations is not a part of the conversation. And then I'm talking about an essential, central part of the conversation, because at the root of reparations, this is not a money talk. This is not policy talk. This is human rights talk. This is us having a conversation about something that America owes us as a people. Because of our experience of going from chattel slaves to this space that we're in today, post Jim Crow, America has gained and has benefited from our pain, right? We know this. Many of you in the crew, y'all have been studying this. We have talked about this, but America has gained from our pain. And so somebody in America is responsible to repair the damage that was done. The case of Quantavia Eason, that's a case for reparations. I got another case for you. It's a case for reparations. We saw the case of Willie Bennett and our two brothers who were in Boston. Alan Swanson, Willie Bennett, case for reparations. You cannot have talk about the future of Black America. And I'm gonna say this to any person that's working in government, community organizing. If you're part of the CBC, if you're part of the Senate, you're part of the House of Representatives, we cannot have a conversation about the future of Black America if reparation isn't at the central point of that. Are y'all in agreement with this on this crew? Can't have it. Can't have it. We can get into the complexities about lineage and all of those things. That's a different conversation. But I feel like we're still in phase one and trying to push and advocate for a national reparations effort. What we're starting to see in America across states is state after state is starting to compose commissions around this issue, which is the good start, because you need to get the support of the state so that way there can be a chorus, not a solo act, a chorus coming from the states. And that's what's going to drive President Biden, Vice President Kamala Harris, and their administration. Yes, they could do some things right now, right? But they really this is really an opportunity for us to organize. I would rather for us to keep pushing this on a state level instead of trying to make it a federal situation where the states can, knock it down, the states can take it to court and all of those things. Get the support of the state level. Get the support of those individual states. If you got 10, 15, 20 different states who are saying, look, we need some reparation commissions. We need a federal mandate on this issue. It's a much stronger case. Y'all agree or disagree with that? Y'all agree or disagree? Yeah. All right, so let's talk about what's happening in New York. Reparations. There is now going to be a reparations commission set up in the great state of New York. This commission will study the extent to which the federal and state government supported the institution of slavery. This is a big story coming out of Albany, New York, because New York State Commission New York will create a commission, and it's going to be created by the governor's office. And there is this commission was actually signed into law by Governor Kathy Hochul yesterday. Very, very significant bill. Very big bill. According to the statement coming from Governor Hochul, from the state assemblywoman Michelle Solanges before the floor debate, she said, quote, "We want to make sure we are looking at slavery and its legacies." Come on. See, that's the important part. This is about beginning the process of healing our communities. There's still this generational trauma that people are experiencing. This is just one step forward. I got to take another quick pause. When we come forward, let's talk a little bit more about this, because that is heavy. You got to look at slavery. And I'm talking about the period when we were actually chattel slaves, when we were property and commodity, and its legacy. So that means that anything that came out after the ending of chattel slavery, and you're talking about laws, you're talking about holding institutions accountable, any of those things that continue to have influence in modern day America. Those legacies, and I like how the state assemblywoman says it, because you got to be very specific for folks to understand sometimes. But then she said about beginning the process of healing our communities, there's still this generational trauma that people are experiencing. You can't expect people to move on if you don't address their pain. That is absolutely insensitive and insane. That an experience like this, which has sliced through every single Black person in America and parts of the world, we all have been affected by slavery. I'm saying if you were born in America, you have been affected by slavery. So we all have some sort of generational trauma as a result of just us being a part of Black America. One step forward. We're going to take a quick pause. When we come forward, we'll talk a little bit more about it. Crew, I want to get your take on this. Post your comments in the chat as we're streaming live on Roland Martin's YouTube page, on Roland Martin's Facebook page. I would love to get what you're saying. And I hear what you see, mainly, Natasha Serge. A conversation about reparations that's not leading to a check is a useless conversation. I'm going to let's talk about it. Because it don't have to lead up to a check in my eyes, but that's your eyes. So I'm going to respect your opinion on that, Ming Lee. But it don't have to lead up to a check, because I don't need to get the money. I don't need no check today, and then my future for my babies are still shot to hell tomorrow. What's the point? What's the point? I need, as State's Assemblywoman said, I need you to address legacies, which means that there needs to be some time. I need something that's going to last, some repair that's going to last over time. The check would be here today, but I need a legacy for my babies tomorrow, and then their babies the next day, and their babies the next day. Y'all see what I'm saying? Look, stay with me. The conversation's coming up on the other side. It's the culture here on the Black Star Network.
hatred on the streets. A horrific scene, a white nationalist rally that descended into deadly violence.
White people are losing their damn minds.
As an angry pro-Trump mob storms the U.S. Capitol,
we're about to see the rise of what I call white minority resistance. We have seen white folks in this country who simply cannot tolerate black folks voting.
I think what we're seeing is the inevitable result of violent denial.
This is part of American history. Every time that people of color have made progress, whether real or symbolic, there has been what Carol Anderson at Emory University calls white rage as a backlash.
This is the rise of the Proud Boys and the Boogaloo Boys. America, there's going to be more of this.
Here's all the Proud Boys, guys.
This country is getting increasingly racist in its behaviors and its attitudes because of the fear of white people.
The fear that they're taking our jobs, they're taking our resources, they're taking our women. This is white fear. Black Star Network is here.
Oh, no punch! I'm real revolutionary right now.
Thank you for being the voice of Black America.
All momentum we have now, we have to keep this going.
The video looks phenomenal.
See, there's a difference between Black Star Network and black-owned media and something like CNN.
You can't be black-owned media and be scared.
It's time to be smart.
Bring your eyeballs home.
You dig?
All right, folks, welcome back to The Culture here on the Black Star Network. We've been talking about New York State, being the next state that is going to have the conversation and create a commission to study the impact of slavery, the institution of slavery on Black Americans in New York, right? And this is a big situation because New York is one of the most populous states in the country. The history of New York, and as it relates to Black folks, right, is a very, very rich history. Whether you're talking about upstate New York, or you're talking about in the cities and in the boroughs and everything, it's a very, very rich history. So this is big. This is big. And this particular commission was signed into law. This bill was signed into law by Governor Kathy Hochul yesterday. And it's opening up the conversation about looking at slavery and its legacies. So you're talking about the laws and all that came from chattel slavery. And it's also talking about addressing generational trauma that people are experiencing. We're still experiencing some level of generational trauma. When we see the case of Quantavious Eason, a 10-year-old Black boy who goes through the system for something as simple as peeing in public, generational trauma is triggered. When we talk about the fact that the Boston mayor, Michelle Wu, apologizes to two Black men for being wrongfully accused of killing a white woman from 1989, generational trauma is triggered. We can go through case after case, story after story, and generational trauma is triggered. So this is not about like, oh man, y'all talking about some stuff from old school. No. We're talking about modern day. Just in 2023 alone, we can point out different stories and different cases where generational trauma is triggered. So New York is following the lead of the state of California, which became the first state to form a reparations task force in 2020. So again, California, the second, you have California, huge state on the West Coast, New York, huge populous state on the East Coast, two big states, a lot of money, a lot of people, a lot of resources that are looking forward to trying to push the conversation around reparation to the highest level. We need these two states. Now, if we get a state like Texas, y'all hear me? If we get a state like Florida, y'all hear me? You got a state like Mississippi, okay? Alabama. We start getting a couple of them southern states, and I'm thinking about you, Sister Lana. We get some southern states to sign on. If we see that there's some progressive leadership in those southern states who say we need to really look at this situation, oh man, we got that grease is cooking. Y'all know what I'm saying? That thing is cooking. That means that the reparation movement has gotten some real momentum, but it's already got some strong momentum in California and New York. And there are going to be some setbacks, folks. Please don't believe that something like this that forces America to confront and look at herself in a very real way is not going to have any setbacks. There will be some setbacks. And it's okay. It's okay. Because one thing that we can rely on, if nothing else, about Black folks is our resilience. We have been so accustomed to setbacks, it's actually a part of our DNA to overcome. Come on, man. Come on. Y'all talk to me. Can the crew say amen? Y'all hear what I'm saying? We have been so accustomed to setbacks that it is in our DNA to have the ability to overcome. Y'all ever see somebody who just fall apart at a couple of life's bumps? And you're like, damn, man, what's wrong with you? It's nothing like seeing a grown man or grown ass woman, life throw them some curveballs and they just fall apart. Oh, God, I can't believe this happened to me. It's like, golly. Man, that's life, bro. That's being Black in America. Like that. Nobody said that this thing was going to be peaches and cream, but it's in our DNA to overcome any challenge and setback. All right, here we go. All right, let's go. Let's go. Let's talk about this, man. Because I know you know, you gotta talk to Black folks for certain things. You gotta talk to Black folks. You gotta remind us who we are sometimes. You know, you being a part of a system for so long that it just gets on. You know, you make you feel like you ain't nothing. Man, please, we have everything in us that we need. In 2023, going into 2024, we have every single thing we need right in us or around us to make the change we want to see made. Right in this country, right now. Come on. Come on, Jay, say it. All right, there it is. All right, let's go. Let's talk about this bill. According to the New York bill, the first enslaved Africans arrived at the southern tip of Manhattan Island, which was a Dutch settlement around the 1620s, and helped build the infrastructure of New York City, while the state legislature enacted a statute that gave freedom to enslaved Africans in New York in 1817. It wasn't implemented until 10 years later. Now, listen to what a Republican state assembly member, Andy Goodall, said during floor debates on the bill. He voted against the bill, said he supports existing efforts to bring equal opportunity to all, and would like to, quote unquote, continue on that path rather than focus on reparations. Let me tell you why, because this is what Republican State Assemblyman Andy Goodall said. He said, I'm concerned we're opening a door that was closed in New York State almost 200 years ago. Let's. How can you tell a people who have been oppressed, who have been violated, who have been disrepaired, who have been broken, that their hurt and pain has been addressed 200 years ago, when we're still seeing some of that same violations in modern day 2023? If the door was closed, Mr. Assemblyman, 200 years ago, that we got repaired, then how come Black people in the state of New York are still suffering? Because does our behavior show the behavior of a repaired, whole, healed people? I mean, just walk with me on this, crew. Do we? And see, this is political leadership. This is what they want to put out there. Oh, no, we address that. Because you know why you say that y'all address that, Mr. Goodall? You address that because you benefit from the pain and the ignorance of Black people in this country. And that's why you say, oh no, that door's closed. That door's closed. We good. How you going to do that? So because your pockets are being fattened from our pain and ignorance, right? Your colleagues' pockets are being fattened from our pain and ignorance, right? You are still in a position of power to dictate the agenda of a whole people, or at least the people in the state of New York, right? You think you're good, but you're not good. You're not good. See, I was always taught this, crew, justice never sleeps. Just when you think, that, oh no, we all good now. See, the nature of things don't allow things to just die down, be swept under the rug. Justice never sleeps. It don't care about your timeline. It doesn't care about our timeline, but when it comes, it repairs and heals all that have been made unjust. See what I'm saying? Justice never sleeps, y'all. Kathleen, you say, I'm not waiting on a check. This is for the next generation. They need a place to exist. I'm begging, not another vote until reparations is right up there with the funky new president. Here's how you're going to get that reparations right up there to the funky new president. We have to change how we respond. To all of my voting advocates, I see my sister Corinna's in the chat. Good afternoon, Corinna. Good to connect with you. I seen for all of y'all who understand how this thing works, right? Because everybody don't know. Everybody don't know. We talk about this. This is like a digital class, right? We go into details on this stuff. Everybody don't know. But for those of us who have a little knowledge of how the system works, y'all understand that at the end of the day, as many times as we can vote, if we don't have our people on the same page, then it doesn't matter. And this is part of the reparations. There is an advocacy portion, right, which what we're seeing. And I think someone mentioned in the chat today, someone said, well, why are we doing, local thing? Like, do you really think that the commission is going to change anything? And I forgot who mentioned this. But this is the format in which we have to do it in terms of states. This is the legal and political format based upon our system of government. We can't just sit outside the door and screaming and yelling and throwing rocks at the building. We go down to the police department. We go down to City Hall in our respective cities and states, and we just start throwing rocks and say, oh, y'all need to repair the damage. No. You need to set up a commission. And what that does for the commission is it tells everybody in the state, all your political lawmakers, all of your legal people, it tells everybody in the state, this group of people and this work that they're going to be embarking upon is protected by the state for them to do. So if you try to disrupt them, if you try to violate their rights while they're doing this work, then you're going to be feeling the consequences of the state. We need that, right? Don't we need that level of protection? Even if it's just to study the impact of the institution of slavery. Now, which state? Come on, y'all. I'm gonna say this and then we're gonna take a quick pause. Which state in the United States of America has not benefited from the institution of slavery? When chattel slavery was in existence, which state has not benefited from the institution of slavery? So when we talk about studying reparations in slavery and its legacies, y'all tell me which state has not benefited from that institution, and more importantly, which state would be exempt from that category of either not benefiting from the slavery itself or the legacies of slavery? I'll wait. They all have. America would not be America if it wasn't for the institution of slavery. Every single state is dripping with the blood of African people. Every single state. You might say, well, there's one that, okay, we might have some states that have less involvement than others, but America as a whole has benefited, and I'm talking about has truly benefited from the pain, from the suffering, from the death of Black people. I got to take a quick pause. When we come back, more conversation. Stay with me. Stay with me. We almost at the end, y'all. It's The Culture here on the Black Star Network.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jackie Hood Martin, and I have a question for you. Ever feel as if your life is teetering and the weight and pressure of the world is consistently on your shoulders? Well, let me tell you, living a balanced life isn't easy. Join me each Tuesday on Black Star Network for a Balanced Life with Dr. Jackie. We'll laugh together, cry together, pull ourselves together, and cheer each other on. So join me for new shows each Tuesday on Black Star Network, A Balanced Life with Dr. Jackie.
Black Star Network is here.
Oh, no punch! I'm real revolutionary right now.
Thank you for being the voice of Black America.
All momentum we have now, we have to keep this going.
The video looks phenomenal.
See, there's a difference between Black Star Network and Black-owned media and something like CNN.
You can't be Black-owned media and be scared.
It's time to be smart.
Bring your eyeballs home.
You dig?
All right, folks, welcome back to The Culture here on the Black Star Network. We've been talking about how the state of New York is moving forward and being the next big state in the country to approve the creating a commission to study the institution of slavery from a state and federal level. And this was a bill that was signed by Governor Kathy Hochul yesterday in Albany, New York. And the commission will be required to give its assessment about the lingering negative effects of slavery. That's what that commission is designed to do, to talk about the lingering negative effects of slavery and its impact on Black people in the state of New York. Now, I share with you the remarks made by Republican State Assemblyman Andy Goodall, who said that he's concerned that by opening this door to have a piece of legislation like this signed by the governor, this was before it was signed, but he was in the debate, he's talked about how the door was closed 200 years ago in terms of repairing the damage. I don't know what kind of history books that man is reading, but 200 years ago, we were not repaired. And that door is blown open because the reality of the situation is that we are still suffering from what has happened to our people in chattel slavery, but more importantly, America is still suffering from the legacy of slavery. And see, this is the sad part about this whole conversation, y'all, that many probably, America always asking the question, we got to move forward, but you don't really want to move forward because you're not addressing the big question. That is, what are you going to do to improve the relationship that this country has to its former chattel slaves? See, if you don't address this question, you can't talk about no future. I'm gonna be honest with y'all, man. We're gonna put it right there. If America is not talking about improving the lives of Black people in this country and of really addressing the damage that was done from chattel slavery all the way up until modern day 2023 America, then you ain't talking about no future. You're not talking about no future. You could talk about everything else, but guess what? You're gonna have that big ass elephant in the room because that's where the future starts. It starts with you addressing this ongoing slavery, suffering, and death that Black people experience in this country each and every day in post-Jim Crow, post-Obama America. Let's talk about this. Now, this commission will be required to deliver a report 1 year after their first meeting. Their recommendations, which could potentially include monetary compensation for Black people, would be non-binding. And according to the report, the legislature would not be required to take the recommendations up for a vote. Bing bong, here's where we kick in. Here's where we kick in, y'all. And this might be new to some of us, but this is what we call political activism, political engagement. The floor has already been laid out, the foundation for this thing, right? The governor said, look, I gave y'all a commission. Y'all can study this thing. Bring the evidence that the state of New York has done some wrong. Show the evidence. This is the great task of the commission. And the evidence is clear. The evidence is there. History will will be on the side of the commissioners. They say they go, fine. They're going to give a report a year later. Once that report is given, as you just heard, recommendations will be given as well. Not just the evidence, but recommendations from the commission. And this is how it was set up in the state of California, here in California as well. But then here's where the people power kicks in. The people power has to say, this is what we want, and then advocate for those recommendations. We can't sit silent. We can't just hope and wish upon a star. People power has to kick in. Black people power, white people power, Latino people power. People power has to kick in to say this needs to be done. These recommendations need to be accepted. These recommendations need to be adhered to, right? That's where the people power comes in. You can't expect this commission to come up with to show the evidence and give their recommendations. Now the commissioners make the small team of commissioners are responsible for saving hundreds of thousands, millions of people in the state of New York. No. New York, Black folks in New York got to say, all right, y'all ran the first part of the race, passed the baton, now we run to the next part of the race. Does that make sense to y'all? That's people power, man. That is people power. That's people power. All right, let me go back to what y'all are saying. Now, y'all talking about the lineage and all of that stuff. And I mean, that's certainly a part of the conversation, but I don't want us to focus on that right now. I don't want us to focus on that right now because we're still in the beginning phase, right? And part of that lineage conversation with reparations, the part of that, and I've talked to lawyers and folks that are on the ground, part of it is more in terms of how do we differentiate, how do we identify certain people, right? Because we do have a large influx of immigrants, Black immigrants from Africa, from the Caribbean, and from other parts of the world who are coming in, who have come in and being a part of this country 5 years ago, 10 years ago. So part of that is like, how do we politically get this point across, right? Especially in states and in areas that are Republican controlled or even Democratic controlled. How do we politically get this point across? So that's part of why the lineage conversation comes in. It's like a political tactic, a strategy, part of it. But when we look at and again, I'm not going to go deep down that path because I just want us to have the conversation that commissions are necessary in order to do a couple of things. They're necessary to, again, gain the protection of the state, to do the work of studying and research. Also, they're necessary to identify, and they can put down on paper certain things, whether it's laws, whether it's institutional involvement in slavery, all of that stuff. You have a record on paper. That's what the commissioner is responsible for, right? Bringing all these pieces together so that way, when it presents its case to the state, to the governor, to the legislature, the state legislature, it has all its ducks in a row. You want to come to the state because if there's a monetary if there's money attached to these recommendations, like in the state of California, there's money attached to this recommendation. They said that here in California, that task force said in their report that the state is estimated to be responsible for more than $500 billion due to decades of over-policing, mass incarceration, redlining, receiving bad loans, and living in certain neighborhoods. California state budget last year was $308 billion. So if you're talking about money, you're adding money to the recommendations, then you got to play the political game like, okay, if the state's budget is $308 billion and you asking for $500 billion just on this issue alone, most likely you're not going to get that. I don't think you're going to get five, but you got to place the ask, right? You got to see. Maybe it's something that could be staggered over time, and that's how that can be done. But it's necessary to ask. That's the art of the ask, right? Same thing. There's expecting that in the state of New York, that reparations could come with a hefty price tag. But, and I'm going to what my sister Corinna always say, how much do you, what price do you put on the paper for the breakdown of a people? What price do you get? What price does a people need to pay? How do you quantify that? How do you quantify generations of Black folks who have been oppressed, terrorized? How do you quantify generation Black folks who have been disenfranchised and disengaged from the systems, right? How do you quantify that? It's not an easy thing to do. So we're at that place now, right? So again, this is part of the commission's work. Like, how do you put money attached to this? What does the money go to? And and I got to take another quick pause, but I'm of the view that each state has its own set of challenges. Like of course, we know repairing the damage is the overall thing. But in each state, Black folks suffered differently. In the city of Evanston, Illinois, they were talking about, I think it was talking about real estate or housing, talking about the housing crisis and how that has disenfranchised Black folks. So they put that as part of their reparations agenda, right? Housing. Here in California, they're talking about policing, right? Because again, each state, everywhere Black people are found in each state, we have our own unique set of troubles, right? Yes, we want to repair the damage, but when you start to kind of hone in on what was the thing that caused the damage, policing, housing, it might be educational issues. In the state of New York, they might say, well, look, we're having an educational disparity, so let's create a situation where these colleges, that are in part of the New York State will have to allow, descendants of slaves, the children of the children of slaves and their children to get either, a discount on the tuition or something. But each state has its own set of challenges. And I think it's okay that each state try to figure out how to tailor this cause to those challenges to bring about some justice. I got to take another quick pause. Stay with me, folks, as we wrap it up here on The Culture on the Black Star Network.
Pull up a chair, take your seat. The Black Tape with me, Dr. Greg Carr, here on the Black Star Network. Every week, we'll take a deeper dive into the world we're living in. Join the conversation only on the Black Star Network.
Black Star Network is here.
Oh, no punch! I'm real revolutionary right now.
Thank you for being the voice of Black America.
All momentum we have now, we have to this going.
The video looks phenomenal.
See, there's a difference between Black Star Network and Black-owned media and something like CNN.
You can't be Black-owned media and be scared.
It's time to be smart.
Bring your eyeballs home.
You dig?
All right, folks, welcome back to the culture here on the Black Star Network. We've been talking about the very, very big news, big culture convo for the day is how New York State has officially, the governor of New York has officially, she's officially signed a bill into law to create a commission to study the effects, the impact of the institution of slavery from both the federal and state level, as we are talking about moving forward in the reparations movement and the reparations momentum. This is big. Again, this is big. New York will be the second state to do this. Let me just share with you very quickly, and I hope those of you who are tuning in, you're getting something from this conversation, because that was part of our hope that as we have this discussion, laying out these things and these ideas, and we're putting some things out there that it resonates, that it's landing for many of you. So I hope that you are taking something from this and thinking about this situation very, very critically, because I'm trying not to just be emotional about it. I'm trying to lay out some things, because a lot of us have been talking about this issue of reparation. Every time we open up the show, a lot of you, Lana, and many others are saying reparations now, and it's important. And I said it at the beginning. You can't talk about a future of Black America if reparations not a part of the conversation. It has to be a central part of the conversation. I'm tired of having those type of discussions where that's not present. Like the Republican Assemblyman from New York, we'll continue to do the things that we're doing. The things that are being done right now is so small that we need a dramatic shift in power. And those small things of whether it's like, oh, well, we created, a pathway for certain students to go to school, or, we open up 100 Black businesses. That is all well and good. And I'm not taking away from that, but I'm talking about that game-changing effort that really puts America on notice. Some of you in the chat, I think it's you, Monkey Confessions, you brought it up saying that just cut the check like you have given to all America, to other groups of people. And that's all fine. Again, I'm not opposed to that, but the sentiment of you need a game-changing effort, something that has to kind of wake people up, wake America up from this place that she's in, because just giving us a little here, a new policy there, a DEI initiative there. That's fine, but that's still not getting to the root of the problem. Those are like, you got a gashing wound and you putting these little ass Band-Aids over them. It's still bloody. It's still open. But you put these little ass Band-Aids on it, like just, oh no, why is the wound spreading? Why is there now? It looks like it's infected. Why is that? Because you're not really getting to the root of the problem. You're not getting to the root of the problem. So if we're talking about addressing the problem of Black folks, if Black people know that they are fine, it's something to your mindset. Here's this very quickly. It does something to your mind, heart, and spirit when a long-standing injustice is finally addressed, and it is addressed in a way that soothes and brings peace of mind to those who were violated. When somebody done you wrong, you ever get into, some of us may have very contentious relationship with family members, whether it's with your mother, your father, your grandparents, or your siblings. And then you went through years of not talking to that person. Then you go into a family gathering, and then when one person says to you, hey, look, I just want to say that I'm sorry. And if we can start this relationship over again in a more positive way. I'm sorry for this, I'm sorry for that. Especially if it's from someone you love deeply, whose relationship you value and cherish, right? A relationship that you want to see grow and be better. It does something for your mind, heart, and spirit when that person says, not just that they're sorry, they can identify what they've done wrong, and more importantly, they can tell you how they plan to atone for all that they've done, and they're going to work with you. Hey, look, let's do this right. How about from this point on, we do A, B, and C? See, that does something to us. That takes all of that fire out. It brings that peace of mind. See, we're not in peace in America. I'm getting to that point, y'all. Black folks aren't at peace in America. So here we are going back and forth with each other, right? We're all disturbed, but we're going back and forth against each other and with each other over everything from politics to social policy to education to healthcare. So we all on different pages, right? Because we ain't at peace. Because really, at the root of all of our discontent is the fact that the one who is responsible has yet to address the injustice. See, family beef can be resolved, but if you got to get the one that's responsible, and white America has to be held responsible. You benefited from it, so you need to be held responsible for it. You say, well, that was the past, but it didn't change. You say that was my grandfather. Well, then you have a responsibility now for the curse of neglect and the curse of injustice to stop with you. Y'all with me, man? I'm telling you, man, we just talking today. We just talking today. So this is what's important today as we talk about this. All right, so there are a couple of other states that are doing this. I just wanted to throw this out there. Other state legislatures that are considering studying reparations include New Jersey and Vermont, but they have yet to pass legislation. So we're building a momentum. The state of New Jersey and the state of Vermont, smaller states. Vermont is the smallest, of course. I talked about Chicago suburb Evanston. That was the first city to make reparations available to Black residents through a $10 million housing project in 2021. On the federal level, the decades-old proposal to create a commission studying reparations has stalled in Congress. That was under John Conyers, the late John Conyers, HR 40. So you need to use other means to get to this place. All right, we're going to have to wrap it up. Let me just tell y'all something. I'm so I'm so filled up, y'all, because I want to share all of this stuff that we're doing and all of these things that are happening in such a big way. And we can't, of course, we won't be able to get into all the details right now. But my hope is, let's get some new conversations started. Let's get some new conversations started. We're in such an amazing place, y'all. Crew, we're in such an amazing place here. And as much as we're going through these challenges, I didn't even get to the story. I didn't even get to the story about, and I'm gonna bring up this story tomorrow, so I'm not going to get into it at this moment. But we're in such a great opportunity because I'm going back to that resilience that we just talked about. For other people, they can show and shine when things are good. But I'm convinced that for Black people, we shine the brightest when the circumstances are the darkest. I'm gonna say that one more time, y'all. I'm gonna say that this is gonna be this. I want this to be the idea that as we close out today's show, we shine the brightest when the circumstances are the darkest. If you look at our history, if you look at the depth of pain that we have endured, look at out of pain how progress has been made. Every great movement that Black folks are involved in this country, out of pain, progress is made. We are the litmus test of struggle. And every other group of people, this ain't racism, this ain't, some type of shade or any, I'm just laying it out here, y'all. Every group of people have benefited from the struggle of Black people in this country. Whether you're from Europe or whether you're from Africa, you have benefited from the struggle of Black Americans in this country. Every group of people. Progress is been measured and dictated by our struggle. So we see that. We know that. This is another opportunity like no other for us to get our people power together. Let's get our politicos together because we need to figure it all out in terms of the strategy. Let's get our community organizers together. Let's get our businesses together. Let's get the parents together to start to embed in the children the seed and the idea of fighting for justice and why it's important for us to have reparations conversations in the schools and in the community centers. See? Over this next year, we're going to be faced with a major election, right? We know what's on the table. We know what's at stake. But we can't forget about what is owed to us. And now I'm not talking about what America owes to Black people. I'm talking about what we owe to our ancestors. Because they didn't suffer. They didn't die. They didn't shed blood, sweat, and tears for a simple vote. They shed those blood, sweat, and tears for liberation. Y'all catch the difference now. The vote is a strategy, but liberation is the goal. How do we become liberated, whole, healed people again? So that's why I'm saying that this conversation about reparations, I don't want us to get into the weeds of like, man, who deserves it and all that. Push this bad boy everywhere. We need reparations. We need reparations in the southern states. We need reparations in some of the East Coast states. I know in the state of Maryland, my home state, they talking about considering reparations. We talking about Vermont. We talking about New Jersey. We talking about California. We talking about New York. We need we need reparations down in Florida, right? We need that. We need reparations in Texas. Why? Because the whole world, and I will say here in the United States, the people of the United States, all of the great people that make up this diverse country, they're really looking at Black America and saying to us, what are y'all going to do? How are we going to move forward? Because we are the trailblazer in the struggle for human rights. That's us. That's us. There ain't no human rights conversation if you ain't talking about Black people in America. That's us. We set the tone. We blaze the trail, and guess what? The future of this country depends on us. I'm gonna stop right there. I'm gonna stop right there, crew. Hey, look, I'm so excited. I'm so excited to be able to chat with you and have y'all to be a part of this conversation. I love you too, Robin. Robin Welch, y'all checking in. My sister Lana, thank you so much. Tia Z, I see it. I see you. Robin, you said let it flow, Farajii. Come on. Anastasia, thank you so much for checking in. You don't like my music. Everybody, you don't like my music. You said, and everyone will benefit from reparations. Who's not going to benefit? See what I'm saying? And you don't like my music. Who would not benefit from a group of people that have once been commodity and product of a capitalistic system finally getting some sense of repair and being made whole. Who wouldn't benefit of that? Name one group of people in this country in 2023 going to 2024 who would not benefit from that. Please. America may be saved as a result on how quick, how fast she moves forward in reparations call. And we don't weaken the call. You don't just, sugarcoat it. You keep the call strong and you stand with it, but the people power gotta be there. The people power gotta be there. All right, y'all, I gotta go. I gotta go. I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all. Make sure y'all go check us out on our website at blackstarnetwork.com. Download the app for free. Follow us on all social media platforms. Your support. Y'all know how I'm talking about support today. Whether it's $5, $10, $15, whether it's your children giving $1. If your children say, well, if for this holiday season, you say, well, we need to give something. Let's not be in the space of receiving this holiday season. Let's be in the space of giving something, right? And this could be a great way. Absolutely. This could be a great way for you to give something, right? Because if Jesus is the reason for the season, Jesus was a giver. He didn't take. He was a giver. And so we ask that you give something to help us power this thing, right? And all Black media spaces that you find across the board, I don't care what, if you know they are Black owned, whether it's a podcast, a newspaper, a digital space, wherever there is Black media, support Black media this holiday season. I'm serious, man. I'm serious. We need this. And I know that you and I can benefit from the content of this, man. We need this in 2024. Black media needs to be at the forefront of these conversations. And I'm just so happy and I'm so grateful that I could just spend my time with you here on the Black Star Network. So your support is needed. And stay tuned. Up next is 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Of course, is Roland Martin Unfiltered. Always remember this, folks. Never be afraid to challenge what's wrong. Stand for what's right while being yourself in the process. Don't let nobody ever tell you that you aren't special, that your story isn't important, that your history should not be noteworthy. Don't ever let that happen. Stand for what you know is right, y'all. All right, God willing, we'll talk tomorrow. Tomorrow, I'm actually having my sister Suzette speaks on tomorrow. So she's going to be joining us for the whole time tomorrow. I got some great stories for that. Stay with us here on the Black Star Network. Thank you so much for tuning in. Talk to you soon. Peace.